Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji.
We have had beautiful explanations, narrations, experiences, self analysis coming from each and everyone. Balaji Maharaj has detailed the approach with which this particular adhyay can be tackled, taking in its sweep Gurudeva's core teaching, as he always does with the BMI chart, and more so the omni-important chart which he displayed about this Dattatreya Maharaj. The name of the Adhyaya 16 is a Daivasura Sampat. It is important to note that 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th Adhyaya are Bhagavan Ovacha, not as a response to Arjuna's question. No question asked. Bhagavan on his own he's stating these four adhyayas, 13th, 14th, 15th and 16th, because in these four adhyayas, Bhagavan is trying to describe in detail his abode, his place, his existence. Who can talk about it better than he himself? So Daivasura Sampat Vibhag is observation from the binocular of Sri Krishna Vasudeva from the lofty heights where he stays of the world that we are in. The observation is about the people who are trying to reach him to the highest, but they are in different stages. Observing these sadhakas and their ascendance, Bhagavan has talked about Daiva Asura Sampat Vibhag. Daiva Asura is a division of the Sampat. But what is this Sampat all about? And if Sampat is something to be proud of, then how Asuras can have Sampat? Daiva Sampat, Daivi Sampatti understood. Asura Sampat, that is because Sampat is the resources that one is endowed with. It's Sampat. So Asuras also have Sampat, which makes them Asura. So the resources that are available at the disposal of a common man, not an extraordinary man or animal man or not even man, his resources are putting him where he is. Because you are defined by your resources. Your whole existence is, or your whole essence is your resources. And resources are used for that particular purpose. Take an example of a murderer who is carrying a knife to murder somebody. All of a sudden, he realizes he has got lots of money in his pocket, but there is no knife in his pocket. That means he doesn't have samsadhana resource to perform the tamasic act. So there is no asura sampat at that point of time with him. Similarly, somebody who wants to ascend on the path towards the Padakamala of Vishnu decides to climb up, but realizes that he doesn't have the rope, which is white in color, called Sattva Guna. So he is resourceless, so he cannot do anything. So this is basically, as Gurudeva said, you come here to cross-check yourself, what are the resources you are endowed with. Now you cannot see a resource that you don't have. But what you have, you can definitely cross-check. Blindly using resources without realizing that whether my resource is doing a good job or not, and do I need to have new resources? We keep on using the old resources because everybody is doing it, so I am doing it. If this is what sampat is, then is there a state called asampat? There is a sampat where there are no resources. Why there are no resources? Because resources are not there at a place where resource only is existing, not the one who is possessing a resource. That is asampat avastha. A person may be having money, but if you ask a currency note that do you have money, the currency note will say, I am money. What are you asking? I cannot possess money. I am money. Similarly, a sampat in a relative sense would be a stage where sampatti is inherent part of that thing whichever is existing called Brahman or Atman. So Satchit Ananda Swarupa inherently possessing the sampat. That is a sampat avastha. The moment you start thinking that you are different and the sampat is different, that is when you are in the Prakruti. So the sampat that is talked here in 16th Adhyaya is about Prakrutodbhava Jiva or Charachara. You will say, what is the resource the stone has? What is the sampat the stone has? The heaviness. Is it sampat? If you don't realize what is the heaviness, let the stone fall on your feet. You will realize what the heaviness is. Gurutva. The ghanata, the gurutva, the heaviness is coming as a sampat for the stone. The use of the sampat, ability to use the sampat, that is a different thing. That the achara doesn't have, the char has. Shakti endowed by the Almighty may be Spurti Swarupa or Aspurti Swarupa. Consciousness is in stone, but not channelized through Antakarana. In all other places, based, depending upon the evolution, there is a Spurti, channelization of potential, which is the consciousness. Because you are in Prakriti, and moment you are in Prakriti, the sampat has to be there with you. You have to possess a sampatti because you are in Prakriti, and everything in Prakriti ultimately boils down to three gunas. A murderer has a knife as a weapon or a resource, but if the iron as a metal is not existing, there would be no iron knife. Similarly, the resources that I possess, being in a part of Prakriti, has to be of Trigunatmaka. Now, this Trigunatmaka pravrutti, which is the basis of having the sampatti, it gives me the requisite sampatti depending upon how I have been impressed by the different gunas. The impressions of different gunas creates what is called samskara. So every interaction, moment I am different from others, interaction starts. I become the subject, everything else becomes the object. Once this is defined, then the object-subject interaction leads to samskara. This samskara leads to what is called as vichara pravrutti. Vichara pravrutti forms the vasana, and this vasana or vichara pravrutti and samskara decides the tone and the hue of the karma. By watching the karma or the vasana or the samskara or the vichara, we come to know which guna is dominating. Based on the domination of guna, the resources possessed by the person, that is the thinking possessed by the person, shall exhibit certain karya which will be the effect of the sampat that you are carrying. If the karma that you are doing, the thoughts that the vichara pravrutti that you are having, or the samskaras that you are carrying, vasanas you are performing, if they are of sattva guna type, then you are ascending upwards. If they are of tamo guna type, you are descending downwards. Those who have already descended downwards, in other words, those who have tamoguna and rajoguna domination with a speck of sattva only left for the purpose of maybe part and microscopic enjoyments, such an entity is called asura. This asura then tries to become a sura, and then from sura he tries to become deva. These three stages are nothing else but the movement from tamo guna to rajo guna to sattva guna. Tamo guna tyajyata, rajo guna maryadita application, and sattva guna predominance puts a asuri person on the track towards deva or daivi sampat via a bypass called a sura. However, it is very difficult to break the vicious cycle of tamo and rajo guna, and because it is difficult, because it like a darkness, it covers you. Such people are called asura because their resources are of darkened color and they darken him around. His intellect gets dulled by those sampat. Asurya nam te lokaha andhena tamasavruta tanste pratyabhigacchati yeke cha atmahano janaha. Ishavasyopanishad, third mantra. It states us that these people with tamasic and rajasic asuri people are drenched in darkness, and because of which they are like the dead body on the earth, and ekecha atmahano janaha, they do what is called as a suicide. They are atmahatyara. That means they kill their self. The body may be still existing, but they are killing their self. Now, if the asura has to move upwards, then he has to switch the nature. What nature? Switch the nature of the vasana. So first is switching of the nature of vasana. Second is changing the quality of vasana. And third is increasing the qualitative aspect of the vasana. These three are attempts to create Daivi Sampat. So we want to be Daivi Sampat Purna, not Sampattivan in the term of money. So Daivi Sampat is an attempt to reduce the Rajo and Tamo guna, increase the Sattva guna, so that the ability to ablate the Sattva guna, so that you can transcend the Prakriti. Once the Prakriti it's transcended, you become a Sampat, and a Sampat, then you become God himself, and God is nothing else but personification of Daivi Sampat. Not in the form of possession, but in the form of nature. Now, that is the reason why Lord has very clearly talked about Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat. Asuri Sampat does not require any study. This is the only part of Bhagavad Gita that need not be studied, because whatever we have is all Asur Sampat. We are well acquainted, we are drenched into it, every now and then we exhibit it. So it is better to focus on Daivi Sampat and how can I get Daivi Sampat. Suppose you have a particular inch television in your home, you don't want to buy another same inch television. Why? I already have one. Even you don't have curiosity to know another of the same size and same specification. Similarly, I already have Asura Sampat, so I don't feel like again studying it. If I have to go out of those Asura Sampat, then I would like to study it. That is why focusing on Daivi Sampat is simultaneously annihilating Asura Sampat. So you want to focus on Asura Sampat. So basically, is it that you want to focus on the defects and cure it? Or you want to implant Daivi Sampat and be sure that the Asura Sampat will be automatically kicked out of the body? It depends on the approach. At the end, even knowing Asura Sampat is of no use if steps are not taken to remove them. So there are two things. One is throw the dirty water which is collected in the utensil by you, or bring in the fresh, pure, clean Ganga water in the home and drink it. Then what will happen? The Asura Sampat will go anyway out because it is not used. Any unused guna dies on its own. Amongst the Daivi Sampat, the sequence given by Bhagavad Gita is something that should be kept in mind. They could have put 22nd at the first at the 22nd. It doesn't happen that way, sir. The sequence is given by none else than Vasudeva. So the sequence also has its own importance. And the whole thing starts from the first Daivi Guna, Abhayam. What is Abhayam? Inward feeling of fearlessness is Abhayam. This is important. Inward. Outwards, we speak to so many people. मैं किसी से डरता नहीं हूँ. I'm not afraid of anybody. Let anybody come. Nothing will happen to me. But sir, when the biopsy is taken by the doctor and the report is yet to come, why do you cry? Because you are not fearless. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was told on his face that you're suffering from the malignancy of throat. And he said, Jai Kali, Shri Ram. It is like saying that the water has come in the tap and you have got cancer. Both statements were treated at the same level and intensity. That is fearlessness. Mahatma Gandhi was woken up in the Salt March, after the Salt March by British officers early in the morning at 3 o'clock. And he was told, you are under arrest. And the immediate question by Bapu was, can I have 5 minutes for prayer, morning prayer? This is called fearlessness. The South African police told that anybody who is protesting against the registration cards will be fired upon. And the first person who went ahead in the procession was Mahatma Gandhi, knowing fully well that as an expatriate, the Indians had no rights and killing a couple of them wouldn't make any difference. Yet he went ahead because fearlessness, abhayam. And where from this fearlessness, how can I inculcate this Daivi Guna? When there is a want, there is a fear. So logically, fearlessness is desirelessness. No desire even to leave. चाह मिटी, चिंता मिटी, मनवा बेपरवाह. जिनको कछु नहीं चाहिए, वही शहनशाह. You are a shahanshah. Why? Nothing I want. To the diocese, this Alexander went as a king and wanted to ask him, tell me, what do you want? And the philosopher said, yes. Can you really give it to me? He said, ask me, I'm Alexander, I can give you anything. He said, can you just move a bit? Because sunlight is not coming on my head. That's all I want from you. No wants, desirelessness is fearlessness. Abhayata is possible only when you are nirmohi, nirmamam, nispruha. Pumanscharati nispruha. Second Daivi Guna is Sattva Samshuddha. Sattva Samshuddha, again sequence. Sattva Guna Prabhava has to be there. What happens because of Sattva-guna Prabhav? Ask any person who is involved into all social clubbings and so-called stupid rapping and whatnot. Ask him anything, he would say, come on, life is so good. Why the hell are you going towards Upanishads? Why it is happening, sir? It is happening because the gunas have not moved beyond Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Rajoguna, alternating with each other. Sattva-guna hasn't come. When Sattva-guna comes, then the desire comes. Let me study Gurudev. Let me see what this great, mighty Himalayan gentleman, what is he saying? That is called heightened perception for the higher knowledge, which is direct result of Sattva Guna. So Sattva Samshuddha, unless you are desireless, Abhayam, Sattva Samshuddha, higher perception will not quest to investigate, will not come. Jnana Yoga Avasthita, intense aspiration for Atma Jnanam. And Jnanam means not the degrees. One highly educated Sufi, when he was asked that you were so educated and you left that and you tried to become a Sufi. So he said, Alkab pe mat jana, hum jante hai, hum kahan pe hai. Don't go on my degrees that I have achieved in my laukika jnana. I know how ignorant I am. So the third Daivi Sampat is Jnana Yoga Avasthita, trying to remain in the state of continuous intense aspiration of Atma Jnana. Once this is done, then comes the Danam. When can you give? Danam can start when? The only precondition for Danam is not that you should possess something to give. That is a secondary condition. The condition for Danam is giving can come only when we develop a feeling that this is not mine. I need 2 clothes, food 2 times, and a place to sleep. Other than that, I do not need anything. When you do not need anything, you immediately are prompted to give. If you're asked to say, if you're asked by somebody that, can you give 10,000 rupees belonging to Mr. So-and-so, you would say, okay, take it. It's not mine, take it. In Marathi, it is called halwarecha gharavar tulshi patra. Somebody was eating, sweet in a sweetmeat shop. He was eating some sweets, and he betted with his friend that if you do not like, if you will like the sweet so much, if you do not like, I will close the shop. The shop doesn't belong to him. So such danam has no meaning. The danam comes only when the feeling that this is not mine is developed. Yajnam. Enough has been discussed in the morning in the 3rd adhyaya about the yajnam. In simplest words, constant remembrance of me as a part of the universe fulfilling duties without fail is yajnam. You are a part of the huge machinery called universe created by the Lord, and I am playing my role. The drama has been set up by the director. My job is to play a role. The role could be of a servant or a king. That is up to him. You just fulfill the role without bothering what is the role of others. That is yajna. Swadhyaya. Upanyasji said, Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Conveniently we forget. Vedo never adhiyatam. We have never studied Vedas. But what nityam? Never. One odd some lecture somewhere on Kathopanishad, Mandukya, that also Gurudev gives in bracket, and then we suddenly scratch our head, Mandukya Upanishad. Only that much sutra we will take, fourth, fifth verse, that much verse we will read only for that particular Friday. I am done. Vedo nityam adhiyatam, never. Effort to drive the mind back to divine road from the filthy violence of subject or vishaya is swadhyaya. Tapaha. What is tapa? No, no, that is you go into the jungle and sit in Padmasana with a prakhar tapasya. Why? Vishwamitra did it. I am going every day to the office. Where do I do the tapasya? Sir, tapasya is not that. Effort not to allow the Shakti to leak through apertures of sense organs is tapaha. I shall not let the energy within me. I am a powerhouse. Chaitanya is powerhouse. It is leaking through the sense organs. Stopping that leakage is tapaha. What are the leakages? Because too much of theoretical discussion doesn't help in sadhana. What is leakage? Through the sense organs. Now my eye is my sense organ, sir. What does leak from the eye? The TV, the cinema, the porn, the WhatsApp. It is a leakage of Shakti through the eye. Leakage through the ears, the mobile, and some stupid kolahalam called rap music, this music, that music. Not Bhagwan's music, not Kirtanam. Other than anything Kirtanam, leakage of energy. Leakage through the skin, tons of creams, plastic surgery, early morning, half an hour into that thing, and again on the weekend going in the corner to give somebody some payment to paint the body. What a stupid, ridiculous dissipation of Shakti. What about the tongue, rasana? From the tongue, every now and then Shravana Bhavana, new hotel, new restaurant, new recipe, new dishes, new some channel, 4, 5, 10 different channels. You mix this into this, and it is such a nice thing. It was such a beautiful, so tasty, and all that, sir. It is dissipation of energy. An act which is meant to do for only 10 minutes once in the morning, afternoon, and dinner has been extended to completely occupy your life. The tapam is not happening. What about smell? The perfumes. That is 350 dirham, but unique smell, fruity smell. How much pampering of sense organs. And these leakages are happening individually through the sense organs. In case you want the leakage to happen through all the organs at one time, then that event is called party. Today is birthday party. This is our 60th birthday party, 25th marriage anniversary party. Whether you bang your head on the wall or beat the drums, the world will come to know that you are 30-year-old in your marriage. What difference does it make? What is that you have achieved by marrying for 30 years? Tomorrow, let a dog marry a bitch. They will also complete 10 years of their marriage. What is so great in that? Because other than that day, constantly you are having bickering with each other, and then you want to celebrate that. That is called something which is against the tapam. Arjavam. Arjavam is straightforwardness. What is straightforwardness? Straightforwardness is going and insulting the boss by telling the truth. No, sir. Krishna Bhagavan Vasudev has played a lot of diplomacy. At times, even the truth has been given aside. Then, Bole taisa chale tyachi vandavi pavle. What you think and what you speak and what you act has to be in unison. A classical example is Mahatma Gandhi. When a powerful bomb exploded, Madan Lal Paha was trying to kill Gandhiji, and in Birla House, prior to his actual assassination, a bomb exploded. Everybody got up by bomb. Bapu continued to stay there, closed his eyes, and he was meditating. And second day in the newspaper, it came. Bapu was such a great person that in spite of bomb explosion, he was keeping quiet in meditation, saying Ram, Ram, Ram. When asked, Bapu said, no. I thought some crackers were blown. That's why I sat there. This is called innocence and admission of the truth. Anybody else would have said, yes, I'm a very powerful person. I don't get moved by such, I'm पहुंची हुई चीज हूं. No, sir. Arzavam doesn't come in that. Arzavam is straightforwardness. Thinking, speaking, and action has to be in one line. If thinking, speaking, and action is in one line, then Thinking is sattva, speaking is raja, acting is the implementation of that. If the rajoguna comes into the thinking, then speaking changes and the action again changes. If tamoguna comes into the thinking, then you start the thinking itself from the point of view of cheating somebody. So the arzavam is completely destroyed. So what happens? From Daivi Sampat, you have gone to Rakshasi Sampat, not even Asuri Sampat. Next is Ahimsa. Han is the dhatu, hante, to destroy, to beat, to kill. You can do it by body and speech as well as mind. These days we do not do much himsa by body. We don't go to blows with anybody. Those, at least we are so-called educated people. So body ahimsa is different. But it's not only the other human being. What about the animals? There are people, they will try to disturb something. They will try to kill the insect if it is going. It is going on the road. It is going its own way. Why do you want to kill it? Is he coming to bite you? Bapu, when he started Sevagram Ashram, the hut was being built, and during rainy season, lots of snakes used to come. And Bapu was sleeping inside along with his other disciples also, and Meera was also there. So what they used to do, as a precaution, if the snake bite is there, Bapu used to carry potassium permanganate. Now it does nothing against the snake poison. But all such snakes, because when the water used to recede, the snake used to remain in the house. They used to put it in the basket and go and leave it in the jungle. This is called ahimsa. So first, by body, don't do anything. Second, by speech. This is difficult. For example, so and so was not talking good about in Nalayak. Himsa started. You know, Donald Trump was saying something bad about India. Harami hai. Himsa. Neither Donald Trump is going to come and ask you, nor Modi ji will come and ask you, but I have to give my opinion, that too through himsatmak shabd. Your junior has committed some mistake. Bekal, himsa by words. I'm not saying that you should not point out the mistake, but there are ways of doing it. Bapu also had lots of disciples. In Calcutta, a group of young students came and accosted Gandhi, saying that because of you, the Bengal violence is happening. Bapu was keeping quiet. He didn't shout at them saying that you people don't know bloody, you don't know anything about what Satyagraha is. No. Himsa by speech, no. And the most impossibly, himsa by mind. Himsa by mind, whenever somebody comes, namaste, yeah, good, nice. I'm fine, I'm okay. Moment he leaves, you tell other person, hey, he's a very bad person. That means you're already thinking himsa about him in the mind. Ahimsa is a Daivi Sampat. Akrodha. This is our main bane of our living. Krodha. What happens is Krodha comes in stages. First is arousal. Something inside starts boiling. The Krodha, arousal stage. Then articulation stage. It has come in the mouth. You're waiting. Let him finish and then I'll blast him. You're waiting for blasting. Articulation stage. Then comes verbal diarrhea stage. Articulation, expression starts. In expression, the other man said something, and then you get aggravated in your anger, and it is called as aggravation. So arousal, articulation, expression, and aggravation, these four stages are there in Krodha. Somebody who is able to spot at the arousal point itself and control it is called Sattvaguni. That is called thinking before shouting. Somebody who stops it at articulation, it has come almost here, but somehow you're controlling yourself. That is called thinking stage. Again, Rajas dominated. You could not control. You said something bad because of anger. That is called Rajasatama stage. In such stage, the better course of action is to leave or stop. And the next, aggravation is Tamasic stage. You cannot control it. You run away from the situation. Otherwise, it will not be controlled. So, akrodha. Have you ever heard of a statement by anybody that, oh, Gurudev was so angry, and then you know what, blah, 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 he said something to somebody? Is it that people did not commit any mistake, did not fail in their duties, etc.? There is a manner and a way. Even when one of the person associated was caught by the police for some stealing something, even then he said, take him, let him go with police. But afterwards he went and met that gentleman and told him, why are you doing this? Akrodha, Daivi Sampat. Then comes Tyaga. Tyaga is very simple. Redefine essential and restrict in that. Ask a question. Is it essential? A nice cover with a small chota ghungru on the side for the mobile and a pedestal thing for them. Is it essential? What is the function of mobile? To listen and to talk. Then no, this one has the that this thing doesn't work. If I get auxiliary with this and no, essential restrict to that. It is cold, I need a sweater. Agreed. No, but you know that when we just got, I said 3 stripes and it is like, it looks beautifully. You remember this one? So hero, he was, sir, gone, you are lost. You exceeded essential, you entered into luxury segment. Essential. Anna vastra nivara for me and my family. This is essential. साधु इतना दीजिए जिसमें कुटुंब समाए, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, sadhu na bhoka jai. Sadhu means in case my home some sadhu comes, not friends. Friends are not considered sadhus. Sadhu may not be acquainted with you, but he can come to your home. You must make him eat even if you are hungry. And if your friends come, they basically come to put you down in tamoguna. So they should be kicked out of the house. Shanti. What is Shanti? Ability to reduce thoughts to only sattvic vichar is Shanti. A simpler definition of Shanti. Am I having sattvic vichar in my mind? I am bound to be Shanta. Why? Sattva guna and Shanti, they are cousin, not real sisters, not even cousin. They are real sisters. Sukham and Shanti are 2 sides of same coin. I am Anandi, but I am not Shanta. Cannot happen. I am Shanta, but I am not Anandi. Cannot happen. Ananda Shantam and Sattva-guna, they are 2 sides of the same coin. So ability to reduce thoughts to only sattvic vichar is Shanti, and ability to reduce thoughts to nil, 0, is Parashanti. Next is Apaishunam, absence of crookedness or cunningness in speech and action. This is called split personality syndrome. It is not even split, it's a triple personality. Me as a person, totally different. Me as a family member, totally different. And me in the society, completely different. Don't we behave like this? We are 3 people. We are 3 people involved in one because we behave differently. This is not Apaishunam. There are many people who give pravachanas and all, and we listen and we feel very good, very nice, including me. Very nice, intelligent. He's studying so much, he's talking so much, so nicely he's talking. That is because you know the prabhav. Ask in the family members of that person, ask the wife, how is Dr. Jadhav? And you will perhaps listen something different. Why? She knows swabhav. Prabhav and swabhav are different. When prabhav and swabhav are same, you are apaishunam. This is all for thinking. Daya. Compassion. What is daya? Ability to identify anybody's pain or sorrow, char or achar, as experienced by me. Half part of the daya. मुझे बड़ा बुरा लगता है. Then what do? I do nothing. Daya is not complete. Half part is ability to identify anyone else's sorrow as mine, and is very important, capability to utilize all resources at disposal to reduce it is daya. When Sufi was trying to feed a dog, the dog was hungry. Sufi was also hungry. He said, मैं तो बाद में खा ही लूंगा, पता नहीं कुत्ते को कोई देगा नहीं देगा. So he started feeding him. So his disciple asked him, Maharaj, you have not eaten and you have started giving directly to the dog. You did not even ask me. The answer given was, रगों में दौड़ने के नहीं हम कायल, अगर आंख से ना टपके तो लहू क्या है? What is the use of that blood flowing in the veins and arteries, which is of no use if it is not creating a drop in the ear by looking at somebody's sorrow? This is daya. Alolupatvam, absence of greed. I am taking all Daivi Sampat and trying to talk about Asuri simultaneously and trying to discuss with all of us what are our practical problems. Alolupatvam, absence of greed. Na tu chittasya lalanam, as in Vivek Chudamani. Yadrucha labha santushtam. Whatever comes, I am happy, contentment. Happy with what comes and not hoping for which hasn't come. Avoiding anything where percentage energy put exceeds the percentage of happiness obtained is alulupatvam. If I put 100% energy and I'm going to get 1% happiness, I will not get into it. That is alulupatvam. If my efforts are put in 100% and I get the return of happiness 100%, which happens only when I do something for Lord. Alulupatvam. Other than that, no greed. How much energy we put in making money, but still at the end we get 10% of even what we desire, we don't get. Mardavam, softness. No crooked edges to the personality. Soft, absence of karkashata. Words, action, and thought all should exhibit softness. Words, choicest words. Call people Maharaj, Swami. I can give my own example. When I was a young trainee surgeon, I was working with few Indian surgeons and few American surgeons. 70, 80-year-old experienced American surgeons who had come for giving their services to the charity to the Christian institutes where I studied. So sometimes being a young trainee surgeon, out of enthusiasm, I used to say something wrong. Usually I used to get snubbed if it was an Indian superior. But one of my American senior surgeon, who was a well-recognized surgeon there in California, who was spending his 80 years, post 80 years service here, he used to always tell me, hey, Dr. Jadhav, don't you think it would be better instead of doing this, if we do this? Softness of words. And mind well, I used to always pay attention maximum and obeyed him maximum than the others. That is Mardavam. Action. Rhythmic, soft action. No karkashata. Thoughts, Mardavam thoughts, don't jump to the conclusions. Karunga, marunga, todunga, phadunga, chodunga nahi. That's not Mardavam. Ho sakta hai. I would have also done the same thing. Maybe I'm not confident to address it. That is Mardavam. Re is shame, inherent feeling of shame that we should have while doing bad things. In Urdu, the word is haya, lajja, modesty, that I should not exceed the limitations. Bapu, when he had his appendectomy in Sassoon Hospital in Pune, for recovery, he had gone to Juhu in Bombay, in one of the person's bungalow he was staying. And the movies had come recently. So because Bapu was staying in the bungalow, they said, Bapu, would you like to watch the movie? Bapu initially said no, but everybody insisted. So as a curiosity, a movie was shown to him, and the movie was made in USA, America. And in that movie, a scene came where there was a woman swimming with a bikini. And Bapu said, stop the movie and close it. Why? Vivekananda is to instruct his male monks. Do not even look at the women disciples. Why? Shame in the presence of forbidden things. These days, it is considered a fashion to crack non-vegetarian jokes in front of women or girls. This is called degradation of society. The modesty, the dignity of a woman has to be respected at all accounts, everywhere. Achapalam, absence of fickleness. This is very important, Daivi Sampat, which we are constantly losing. What is achapalam? This mind running helter-skelter. Shanti. Morning, you get up, you start. Aaj ye karunga. Tomorrow I've got a lot of work at 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Hold on. You have just gotten up. Not even taken morning bath. Don't think beyond bath. You're going to the bathroom, think of bath. Brushing, think of brush. Eating, think of eating. Sitting in the car, think of car. Reach the office, office now, no home. Be where you are. Don't let that monkey called mind go helter-skelter. The monkey will try its level best. Once he comes to know that the master is very, very strict, he obeys. Following the monkey is achapalam. Deciding one thing and doing another thing, that is also achapalam. That is why do you never break resolve. If the resolve is made, it should not be broken. I shall eat neem patta from tomorrow. Yes, I shall. How the hell it will not happen? Why? I have decided. And I have told whom? This mind, because I am not mind. I have told my mind to follow it. Getting up early in the morning. I shall, I should, I ought to, I jolly well. And in the modern language, I bloody well get up in the morning. Why? Achapalam. All Nitya Vrata comes under Achapalam. I am diabetic. No, but I sometimes, rarely when I go into this thing, a little, it's this much gulab jamun. What are you trying to justify? Hell with you, fee upon you. You can't even stop eating something which is so poisonous to you. And you're talking about Upanishad? Never possible. Tejaha, vigor. This is very, very critical for us. Tej is a Daivi Sampat. How can Tej be there in our body? Because without Tej, Sahana Vautu, Sahano Bhunaktu, or Bhunaktu is Tejam. Where is the Tej? Tej, vigor, is indefatigable. Body and mind is vigor. And look at our body. You cannot even see your own toes because the Madhya Pradesh is so huge. How can you be called as a yogi, as a sadhaka? No control on food, no control on palate, not taking care of your health. Every now and then sinking into the hotels and restaurants and whiskey and whatnot and smoking and all. And yet I am attending Gita camp. Please stop. Don't insult Gurudeva. That mighty God came down just to teach you something, and we read his own books and do something against him. Stop it. Daivi Sampat Yoga is basically to tell us that we must stop it. Why? Tej has to be developed. The vigor has to come. The vigor will come when the body is absolutely in tune. Mind is in absolute tune, healthy status of affair. Health is not absence of disease, sir. That's a stupid definition. Even WHO doesn't accept it. WHO has added spiritual well-being into it. You can go and refer to the definition of WHO. So having body and mind in indefatigable condition always. Why can't we get up? Just go on the ground. Run 10 kilometers. You're not old. You can't run after 80 years of your age. Walk brisk. Have enough exercise. Eat fruits. Eat vegetables. Stop that oil fried things and those American products and putting, and then you say trans fat and all. What is happening? And then running after organic. What is all this happening? Maybe for the common people, yes, not for the sadhak of Bhagavad Gita, not. Tej, kshama, fortitude, accept the mistake. The modern management itself tells us that any organization that does not allow mistake making cannot prosper. In fact, the conflict is deliberately implanted. There is a conflict theory also. Most of the management personnel would know. So accepting the mistake. And why do you accept the mistake? Because I myself do. इतनी छोटी चीज तुमको समझ में नहीं आती सर, आपको कहां समझ में आई थी? It is so easy to give advice to others. It is so difficult to admit that I was a great fool, and even I am now also I do foolishness. It's better to accept the mistakes. And there are some people of Mahatma Gandhi's stature who not only accepted others' mistake, but repented for their mistake on his own body. Bapu used to slap himself for anybody else's mistake. Sir, this is a higher level of a yogi. Dhruti is more important. Dhruti is determination. Gurudeva has given it from rooftops. Hold on to the goal, Gurudeva says. Do not leave it. In fact, he said, Mahatma Gandhi was a stupid Mohandas, but he became Mahatma. Siddhartha Gautam Buddha was a stupid man who did not know that there is a death, but he became Siddhartha by sheer devotion to one singular goal. Dhruti is determination to achieve goal. Let's all resolve while studying Bhagavad Gita. I shall become worthy of Gurudeva's grace. Make a determination, make a pledge. I shall do everything to be worthy of Gurudeva's grace. Then why not I make a goal that I will become Gurudeva? You don't have to make that, because Gurudeva's grace itself means Gurudev will make you, take you to his abode. Apana sarake kariti tatkal. That is how Tukaram Maharaj says, every saintly person makes same as him, the disciple. So all we need is only a determination to have grace of Gurudeva. Shaucham, whiteness, sparkling white, cleanliness of thoughts, cleanliness of body, cleanliness of surroundings, cleanliness of everything. There is a fondness for cleanliness that develops with Sattva Guna. Every dirt is to be shunned, whether it is of body, of mind, of thoughts, or of surrounding. If there is some time you're going on a walk, something is lying on the road, a person who has developed Shaucham, the Daivi Sampati, will immediately pick it up and throw it. He will never throw any tissue paper here and there. He is definitely not a person who comes home and throws his socks anywhere, asking the maid to collect it. Adroha. Adroha is stop blundering. Why? Blunder is a direct manifestation of Tamoguna and Rajoguna. A person who is supposed to say cupboard, he says buckered, and then he says, oh sorry, it was a slip of tongue, it is Tamoguna. You touch something and it falls. You fumble while talking, your tea spills on your body. These are all Tamogunas. That cannot happen. This is blundering. And these are blunderings on the external world. Blunderings in internal world. Not understanding Bhagavad Gita. 2 lines you read and you say, it's too difficult. I think tomorrow morning I will start. It is better, one has to be fresh to start. Hey, you are trying to justify your droha. Adroha. No blundering. No atimanita. Very important. Biggest problem with us. No atimanita. Expecting too much of regard and respect from people. Nobody should trample your dignity, agreed. But you cannot demand respect. The respect has to be achieved. I remember when I was 10th standard or 11th standard, I bought a new belt. And I went to the school and nobody asked me that this is a new belt. Then I started telling my friend, it is paining me here. Then he asked me why it is paining here at the stomach level. Oh, this new belt. No, I bought. Then he said, oh, you bought a new belt. I was very happy. This is called demanding attention. Commonest example is you go to a wedding. Moment you enter that wedding hall, you expect somebody to come. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. If nobody comes, what is the point in coming here? At least they should have understood me. They did not send me the car. Others were put on the hotel. I was not even given the hotel nice room. Others stayed for 3 days. I was only for 1 day. They gave me a dress, but look at this quality of the cloth. What is happening? Pee upon us. Na atimanita. It cannot happen. And all these Daivi gunas, if they are not developed, then Asuri gunas described automatically develop in us. And all the Asuri gunas have been compiled by Bhagavan in only 3 things. And those 3 things are called as gates of Naraka. What is Naraka? Naraha kayanti iti narakaha. The place where human beings cry is Naraka. That means right now where we are is Naraka. Don't think of any 3-dimensional place called Narak. Narak, we are already in Narak. Why? We are crying. And why we are crying? Because the doors have been kept wide open. Which 3 doors? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Trividham Narakasya idam dwaram nashanam atmanaha. Kama, Krodha, tatha, Lobha. Tasyat etad trayam tyajet. That is exactly what Acharya has said in Vairagya Dindima. Kama krodhasya lobhasya dehe tashtati tashkaraha jnana ratna apaharaya tasmat jagruta jagruta. So Daivasura Sampatti is nothing else but our guiding light for becoming ideal sadhaka, so that we can swiftly move from Rajoguna towards Sattva and stretch ourselves, climb up, 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 and stretch our hands to touch the feet of Gurudeva. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji. Thank you so much. We can have a few minutes for question and answer. If anybody has any questions, you may ask now.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji. I do not have a question, in fact, now, but why am I a little bit reluctant is that I think that probably I have said the same thing during our last session also. I'm not sure. Because you had mentioned in today's speech also that we should be very restricted about our personal things, and
Yes.
2 sets of clothes are enough. Then suddenly the name came to my mind is Dr. Ramanji. Ramanji is no more with us. He passed away nearly 2 years ago. But he had visited our Friday class, and he had given a lecture also. That was some 3 or 4 years ago. And he was close to Gurudev and all that. So, and in his life, he was a professor doctor in dermatology. He was associated with Calicut Medical College. So although he was holding such a big office, a responsible position, he was having only 2 sets of clothes. So I thought that I will just tell about him for everyone to remember, because it's a rare thing to happen.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Sanjay ji, you talked about the order in which these gunas are mentioned.
Yes.
So that's obviously of significance. And so the significance is what? In terms of prioritization, we should start from the beginning. The ones in the beginning are more important. So what is the significance of the order?
The significance of the order is, if you start from the first, let's say first Daivi Sampat, then it is like when the first bulb is illuminated, there is a simultaneous illumination of other qualities in more or less quantities. So once we start practicing abhayam, which basically emanates from desirelessness, it automatically gives you sattva samshuddha, because sattva gun now starts rising. Immediately you feel like giving things to others, dhanam automatically arises, yajnam automatically becomes better, daya comes in your mind. So it is a pack of crackers. You burn the first cracker, and then you will find that others are also one by one coming in the line. The intensity may vary somewhere, and then you focus on those which are not intense. That is sadhana.
Thank you.
Sanjay ji, another thing. About anger, you had mentioned 4 levels of anger,
Yes.
but I could write down only 3. I wrote only arousal, articulation, and the last one is aggravation. So one I missed out.
Expression and then aggravation.
Which one?
Expression.
Expression. Ah, okay.
First you get anger inside, then it comes almost to the tongue, then you speak about it, and then when the other person tries to hit you back, you again further increase your anger. That is aggravation.
Okay.
So when you want to control the krodha, when you want to become a krodha, you can start at any level. For example, if you're a person who is too angry, you cannot control yourself. Try to run away from, try to go away from there. That is where you are trying to control the rajas and tama, expression level. If you are at little before that, then maybe at articulation level, you can think and stop. At arousal level, you can think and stop. If it is nipped in the bud at arousal level, that means your sattva guna is dominant. If it is running stage, that means tamo guna is dominant.
Yeah. Okay, Sanjay ji.
Hari.
If nobody is asking one more question.
Please.
Vairagya Dindima, Sanjay ji, Vairagya Dindima, you mentioned.
Ji.
That is the name of the text?
It is Shankaracharya's text given by Shankaracharya. Dindima means, in older days, the drums used to be beaten by the person to either announce the arrival of a royal party or some in the early morning to wake up the people. So this is Vairagya Dindima. To arouse your Vairagyam, this Dindima has to be constantly reverberating in our mind. One of that, Kama Krodasya Lobasya Dehe Tishtati Taskaraha Jnana Ratna Apaharaya Tasmat Jagruta, that word is more important. And there's something very important. Mata nasti pita nasti bandhu sahodaraha graham nasti vittam nasti tasmat jagruta. Ashaya badhyate lokaha karmana bahu chintaya ayukshinam na janani tasmat jagruta. It is a powerful shloka by Shankaracharya. If it is constantly remembering in our mind, then it makes us very, very much attached to Vairagya.
Yeah. Something sounding like Nirvana Shadgam, no? There is no mother, father.
You
in
take
Nirvana Shadgam also it says.
Guru Ashtukam, there also you will find Shariram, Ava, Kalatram, Dhanam, Yasya Charu Chitram, Dhanam Meru Tulyam. Nothing is of use. Manaschayan Lagnam Guru Rangri Padme, Tatakim. What is the point? What have you earned? Nothing.
Hari Om, Dr. Jadhav ji. May I know the source? I missed it. The 2 shlokas you just recited of Shankaracharya ji, Jagrata.
This is Vairagya Dindima.
Vairagya Dindima. Okay. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.